Hari Om Sandhya ji. Hari Om everyone. We welcome you all to the third day of our Chinmaya Amrit Yatra at Chinmaya Gokul. We all know that why we are celebrating it. Just to remind everyone, we are welcoming Pujya Gurudev and his Padukas here. We feel his presence for this whole week, and we have designed various different activities each day of the 8 days. For Bakersfield, it turned out to be 8 days because we wanted to catch the first Sunday and the next last Sunday. But it's joy. It's a joy to do all that and then see all the faces and all the people who are so interested in this work that's going on. So let's introduce Sandhya to the people who don't know her. So Sandhya is the resident Acharya of Chinmaya Rameshwaram in Tustin, and she's working along with Swami Ishwaranandji. She was born and brought up in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's one of the reasons her background in those regions made her so versatile to connect with diverse multicultural audiences. She's very happy to meet anyone, everyone. She has taken formal vows of dedicated spiritual service for Chinmaya Mission, and she also completed 2 years of rigorous training in Vedanta with Swami Prakashanandji in Trinidad itself. She is well known for teaching discourses on Ramcharitmanas, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and she also leads Bal Vihar children's spiritual classes, as well as teaching them, the ancient wisdom and how they can apply it to their modern daily day-to-day life. So we had invited Sandhya to our youth camp last year in July, and we have already again invited her to come this year again in July. So we'll definitely be very excited to see you, Sandhya. Sandhya also has done a lot of missions, charitable efforts in the community, local community over there. One example is that she has recently helped lead delegation to support Los Angeles wildfire relief efforts. With that, Sandhya, I request you to take the microphone. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Hari Om, everyone. My sincere and humble pranams to everyone. It is my good fortune to have this opportunity for satsang tonight with you all as we celebrate Puja Gurudev's tremendous contribution through this mission, and all of us, Swamins, Brahmacharins, Sevaks, Sevikas, so many people over 75 years and counting. So hopefully we can see each other again in 25 years at 100. But regardless, this is my good fortune. So thank you for providing me with this opportunity so that we can have satsang together and vichara, do some vichara on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. Okay. Hari Om. So, tonight we are going to see the first 9 verses of the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, I think many of us here are very experts in Gita, meaning we have studied, very familiar with the text. But still, even for very advanced seekers, very advanced, knowledgeable students, as well as for beginners, every time we study this Gita, there's always something new that we can get from it. It is always giving something new. Some new layer is revealed to us. And at the very least, if I have studied 100 times, and this will be my 101st time, then it serves to be a good reminder. So for new students, there's something new to learn. For intermediate students, maybe some clarity where there might have been doubts. And for advanced students, then for them, revision. So there will be no loss here tonight. Now, this 15th chapter is a very interesting chapter. Not only because we chanted before meals, but for many reasons. Firstly, this Gita is taking the form of a samvada. At the end of each chapter, it says, Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam. Then it gives the name of the chapter in Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. This discussion, this dialogue that is taking place between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, or between the Guru and the Shishya, the teacher and the student. And in a dialogue like this, in a samvada, both parties present are interested in getting to the knowledge, in learning. So this is not about proving how much I know. It is not about, asking questions to tie up my teachers so that I trap them into some logical fallacy or something. It is nothing like that. Questions are asked for the sake of clarity, and responses are given to clarify doubts and to establish knowledge. So prashna and uttara, question and answer. Then this entire text, all chapters on their own are considered to be Upanishads. Upanishadsu. Each chapter, meaning what? Each chapter contains the Adhyatma Jnanam, the knowledge of the self that is present within the Upanishads. The very soul of Vedanta. So therefore, this Gita itself is held at that level. Though technically it is classified as Smriti, it is also carrying the knowledge of the Upanishad. Then, another interesting thing about this Gita, this 15th chapter is, what is interesting about it, all other chapters, with the exception of the first one, from second onwards, either the chapter begins with a question by Arjuna, or the preceding chapter ends with a question or doubt by Arjuna. And so Bhagwan begins the chapter to respond to that question. No such thing is happening here. But there is a reason for that. It is not chaos. Bhagwan wasn't just bored and just decided, okay, now I will just start speaking randomly, There's a reason. See the progression. In the 11th chapter, Bhagwan gives Arjuna the Vishwarupa Darshan. In other words, Arjuna saw that entire cosmic form of the Lord. And at first, it was very pleasing. It was an amazing sight. But the more and more he started to see, the more and more that was revealed to him, he became very terrified. He couldn't handle it, and he begged Sri Krishna to take it away from him. Bhagwan, recognizing Arjuna's state now, he said, okay, the next chapter, what does he do? He gives the bhakti jnanam. To soothe him a little bit, to comfort him a little bit, he gives bhakti. Very sweet 12th chapter. But then after that, Sri Krishna, because he is the guru after all, he says, Arjuna, you have to stand up and fight, and so you need knowledge. So I'm giving you this Adhyatma Jnanam. And in that 13th chapter, very famous chapter, it's called Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Two terms which are very unique to this Gita also. You don't see it in other places really. Almost exclusive to Gita. Very few other places we may see references to these terms. Kshetra means the field, like Kurukshetra, Dharmakshetra. So Kshetra means the field. What is that field? This world, this entire manifested world, yourself included, is part of that field. Then that Kshetrajna. And who is the Kshetrajna? The knower of the field, the one who is aware of all things that is transpiring at both a very gross, a total general level, as well as individual micro level. That is a Kshetrajna. And who is that? That is Brahman only. Then Arjuna is a little bit, that knowledge is quite heavy. Arjuna starts to feel a little bit overwhelmed again with this very intense knowledge. And so Bhagwan then diverts a little bit. And in the 14th chapter starts to talk about the gunas. What is the nature of this world? Well, it is made up of the three gunas only. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And all of it is guna guneshu vartante. The gunas acting upon the gunas. That is what the world, the samsara is, from that perspective. So again, Arjuna comes back. And Bhagwan says, okay, now see the qualities of a great teacher. Number one, the teacher is interested in the student learning. This is the priority for the teacher because he already has learned. So the student's learning is the teacher's priority. So therefore, the teacher has to give the knowledge in such a way that the student can grasp it, that the student should be able to understand. So what does the teacher do? Well, he presents. He uses language that is known to him to present. Then realizing the student does not grasp, he says, okay, I will use a different set of language and I will present it from a different perspective. Perhaps one that you are a little bit more familiar with. He communicates from the perspective of the student. To teach where the student is at is a sign of an excellent teacher. To be able to communicate with someone so that they understand from where they are at, from their knowledge base, is a sign of excellent communication skills. So this is exactly what Sri Krishna does in this 15th chapter. He picks up from the 13th exactly the topic that was raised there, again is being brought up here, now with a different vocabulary and utilizing an example, an analogy that Arjuna, and not just Arjuna, all of us, how many centuries and generations and eras, an entire yuga later, can identify with. What is this analogy? This is a simple analogy called the tree of samsara. Tree, tree. Now, let us chant these first two verses of the 15th chapter before we proceed, shall we? Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Panchadashodhyayaha Purushottama Yogaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulamadha Shakham Ashvat Tham prahuravayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavita adhashchordhvam prasritastasya shakha guna pravriddha vishaya pravala adhascha mulanyanusantatani karmanubandhini manushya-loke. Now, before we get into these shlokas, Bhagwan is going to use a particular methodology that is very common in Vedanta, and we see it across the Upanishads. This methodology is called as Adhyaropa Apavada. So again, those students to whom this is already known, revision. And those of us who are intermediate and still somewhere there, we have an opportunity to clarify and to learn something new, if that is the case. So let us first understand this concept called Adhyaropa Apavada, and we will get into the verse. Adhyaropa means superimposition. Apavada means negation, right? Adhyaropa to superimpose, apavada to negate. This is a methodology. Now, let's see an example as how this is actually, what it actually is. In the kitchen, there is cooking gas, right? I think most of us are familiar with that. No, I have an electric stove. I don't know about that. Cooking, what is cooking? I order everything on DoorDash. If you go to your parents' home, or whoever has not experienced, but I think everybody here has, the kitchen, there is cooking gas. Now, this gas on its own does not have a scent. It does not have a color, right? On its own. But this is a very dangerous thing. I imagine that through an unfortunate series of trial and error, they came to the realization that we need to have some way to identify, especially if there's a gas leak. So what did they do? They added a chemical, a sulfuric chemical to that gas to give it scent. So the gas on its own is odorless, which means that if there was a gas leak, I could not smell it to know. And by the time I realized, unfortunately, we're all caught up in that flame. So the scent is added, that chemical is added to give it a scent, to give it odor, and it is a very strong, pungent one as well. They didn't add some nice smelling, sandalwood and rose scented anything. Because if they did, we would all think somebody is doing havan and be looking for prasad after. They had to add something that would smell very bad, because only then we start to act. So they added this sulfur chemical to give that scent. So if there is a gas leak, we are alerted. The addition of this chemical to that gas is called as adhyaropa. This is superimposition. Something is there in its natural state, and then something else is added to that. And that is called a superimposition. And it is added because I smell the gas. I know that. I know the smell. I know the gas is there by scent. So it becomes a necessary thing. So now that I have this knowledge, then I understand, oh, the scent actually is not a quality of the gas. The scent is an addition to help me know that the gas is there, that there is a leak. So once I understand that, I understand the real thing is gas, the cooking gas, and not unreal in the example, it's not unreal, but it is an added thing for my own, so that I can recognize that the gas is there. I see that this chemical, this sulfuric chemical, is what is superimposed, and therefore I can negate that as not the real thing. That is called as apavada. Is this okay? Anybody is confused? A very classical example in Vedanta is clay and pot. Same thing. Clay is the material. Pot is a modification of the material. So when we take clay and we mold it, shape it, put it in the kiln and all of those things to form the pot, all we are doing is modifying a material called as the material that is clay into a particular shape with a particular function and give it a specific name called as pot. Now, when I interact with the pot, I am not thinking I'm interacting with clay. My thought is this is a pot. And whatever I use that pot for, it is a pot. I'm not thinking about clay at that point in time. But if I removed clay from the pot, then pot is no more. Isn't it so? Because all the pot is modified clay shaped and molded into this form that I call pot. But if I took that same pot and I removed name, that is pot, I removed shape, that is pot, cylindrical, hollow on the inside, and its associated functions, I still am left with clay. So pot then is a superimposition upon clay. Pot is adhyaropa upon clay. And when we remove name of pot, the shape or form of pot, and all of its associated functions of pot, that negation of pot is called as apavada. And what remains is the real thing called as clay. This is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is doing in these first few verses. These first two verses that we chanted is called as adhyaropa. He is deliberately superimposing. What is being superimposed? Let us see. First, the example of the tree. We all know what a tree is. We have all seen trees. Nobody here needs to be a botanist or a horticulturist or anything like that to know what a tree is. We don't need to know the types of leaves or how variegated they are or if they're coniferous. None of those things are relevant. Have you seen a tree? Yes. Good. Then you'll understand. First thing is urdhva moolam. The roots are above. Then as the trunk grows down, call that trunk that is growing, the trunk then branches out. There are branches. Then there are other little small little sprouts that come up as well. Then there are leaves. Then, and some trees you may have seen, there are from those branches grow like roots, root-like stems, and they grow downward and they connect. Very old trees we see like that. That urdhva moolam, that root above is Brahman, that source of all things. From the source, then the effects emerge. As the trunk represents that cosmic manifestation process, and then we start seeing the various forms of the tree, the branches, the shakha. They are called as adaha cha urdhvam prasritaha. The branches grow in every which direction, up, down, sideways, lateral, some curve into each other. They are growing, spreading its branches all out. These are all the various realms of existence, all of the various worlds, higher worlds, lower worlds, and bhulok, this world that we know, that we are existing in. Then the gunas are guna pravriddhaha. The gunas are helping all of that to grow and spread. And these tender shoots, pravalaha, are all vishayas, are all of the worldly objects. So many objects of the world, sense objects are there in this world, tender little sprouts that come out. The leaves, the paranani, they are chandamsi, the viras. The viras are the thing that sustains society. In the same way, the leaves help to sustain and protect the tree. The leaves help protect the tree in strong winds. The leaves catch the sunlight and through photosynthesis further sustain and protect, nourish the tree. Leaves in some trees, some of those leaves help to store water. So when it rains, it catches water there. And slowly, slowly, the water drips down that feeds the tree. So the leaves are the viras. Then those other little secondary roots that we see growing from the top, the branches, adahacha mulani, those are called our vasanas. All of those impressions that make its way into our mind and form grooves deeper than the Grand Canyon. Vasanas. And those vasanas, what do? Karmanubandini. They bind us. They are binding things through our karmic, through our actions. Now, Brahman at the top, the trunk is a cosmic manifestation process. Then the various branches, the various worlds are there, realms of existence, higher, lower, and human. Then the gunas that are nourishing these branches, that are allowing them to exist and function as they are. The sense objects, those small tender shoots that come up. The leaves, the Vedas that are sustaining all things. And then all of those other shoots and offshoots, etc., are all about binding karmas and vasanas. So now, this is the example. That tree represents, it is samsara. This samsara is just a growing thing. It just keeps growing. And so Shri Krishna uses two words to describe it. Ashvatam and avyayam. Ashvatam, avyayam. Ashvatam means that which is not the same. That which keeps changing. Na shvaha staha. Shvaha na staha, na tishtati. Shvaha, tomorrow. Tomorrow, it will not be the same. But the world is the same. We are, as from my experience, the world doesn't change really. The world is constantly changing. I am constantly changing. In this very moment, I am changing. I just cannot observe it because the change is not happening at an observable rate. But if I look back in my life, I can very clearly see change at varying levels. In the same way, whatever is happening at the micro level is also happening at the macro level. Therefore, the world is always changing. See, even scientists have done an excellent job in trying to understand this world, this universe. When they discovered the atom, and then splitting the atom, and then discovering within that atom protons and neutrons, nucleus, then discovering smaller elements too, smaller microscopic materials, quarks. And that is up to where they are at now. As technology advances, knowledge also will expand. They will come to learn more. Because that is not the limits. Even all particle physicists understand that is not the limits. There is more to learn. Meaning what? Meaning whatever we think we know about this world, really we don't know much. We don't know much at all. We don't know anything about this universe. At best, they try to come up with some type of explanation. But really, we cannot know. We don't understand. We barely know anything about this world. And anything we try to examine, once we begin that process of examination, that object itself, that thing itself falls apart. Meaning what? See, a wall is a solid thing, isn't it? It's a solid wall. But with a microscope, you go inside, you realize it really is not a solid wall. It's made up of so many particles. And there's so much space in it also, in between each one. The sky is blue. We know now, the sky is not blue. And that too changes all the time. It appears blue because of light reflection and refraction, because the surface of the earth is covered with a significant amount of water, and therefore the reflection there is causing an appearance of blue, but the sky really is not blue. Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. It is not. It is the highest peak that is above sea level. That's true. The tallest mountain in the world is in Hawaii. And we just see a small portion of it. 13,000 feet is visible. But from base to tip is 33,000 feet, making it much taller than Everest. Whatever we see in this world, it is actually not real. The moment we begin to inquire within it, the moment that we begin to actually analyze the thing, we realize, actually, this world is not a real thing. And everything in it is subject to decay. Everything in this world. Not a thing in this world withstands the test of time. Nothing. Even if I feel something is quite ancient, the pyramids of Giza, that might be with reference to me. But in a planet that is billions of years old, how can it be considered ancient? A couple of thousand years is nothing by this planet's standard of time. Forget the universe. Ashvatam, everything is constantly undergoing change, either decaying or growing anew or changing in shape, color, form, whatever it might be. Change is happening. And this is a guaranteed thing. Hence he says avyayam also. Avyayam, without beginning. It is a beginningless thing, Bhagavan says. So I understand that. So what is happening here? This entire experience of world, what we call as world, what is in fact samsara, is a superimposition. Superimposition upon what? Upon the urdhva moolam, the root that is above, which is in fact the very source of all things, that Brahman. Then, in the third and fourth verses, shlokas, Sri Krishna now does the apavada. Apavada we know from other texts, and particularly in the Chandogya Upanishad, as neti, neti. Not this, not this. The cooking gas is not smelly sulfur. That is not what it is. That was added so that I can know that it is the gas. The clay is not pot. The pot was superimposed upon clay, but really pot is clay. Clay is not pot. So what is this negation, this apavada? Let us see in 3 and 4. Is there anyone who would like to chant these verses? I can chant, but if there is someone who would like to chant them, that would be nice. Sorry to put you on the spot also. You can just unmute. Or some. You can unmute. Okay, I will chant. Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvatthaменam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dridhena chitva tatah param tatparimargitavyam Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasrita purani. Now, in these two verses, we said this process of negation is happening. First, establish from a known frame of reference. Because we, as human beings, we function within concrete thought processes. We require parameters for us to function. We cannot function without it because the mind is a limited thing. And therefore, this limited mind, limited in various ways, needs certain limitations, certain boundaries for us to function. Of course, some people take it to extreme and are way too stuck within parameters, but this is not a discussion on that. We all need parameters. And even if somebody, we say, oh, this person thinks very abstract, what we are really saying is they just think in a different pattern as compared to my pattern. That is all that it is. Because they are seeing, perceiving the same world, they are also functioning within parameters, but it's just a different set that I have. Their perception of the world, their understanding of the world is different than my own, but they are also functioning within parameters, just unique to that person, just as mine are unique to me. So Bhagwan just started with, Brahman is nishchalam, nishkalam, nishkriyam, niravyayam, not, unthinkable, achintyam, no form, no shape, no name, no this. How can the mind conceive of such a thing? It cannot. It's a not monumental task, impossible task. So we have to start from where I can understand what is known to me. And slowly, slowly now with this knowledge, as I increase my knowledge, I go from the known towards that which is unknown. Not just unknown, but unknowable too, not an object to be known. So the example is given. So I now have a frame of reference. I have a starting point. I can identify with this. Now Bhagwan says, okay, you see the pot? Yes. You see the name of the pot? Yes. You see the shape of the pot? Yes. Now take all of those things away. What do you remain with? Clay. So this is the third and fourth verses. First, understand what is the nature of this world. Narupamasya iha tatha upalabhyate. Asya rupam iha tatha na upalabhyate. This form that we are perceiving, it is not real. Meaning what? It is not independently existing. It exists only because there is a substratum that is allowing it to exist. Sat Swarupam. What is that substratum? Urdhamulam, Brahman. Now I understand, okay, this tree that I am seeing is really coming out of the source. So the tree itself does not have its own independent existence. It is existing because of its source, that root. So then what is the conclusion that I come to? This tree itself that I am seeing here, na antaha, na cha adi. There is no beginning, there is no end. In other words, as long as I identify with the tree, as long as I identified with the effect, as long as I identify with the pot, as long as I identify with the sulfur, I'm using all of the examples so that way nobody gets lost. I am identifying with the thing that is not real. I am identifying with the superimposed thing, not the substratum. And if I remain identifying with that, then it is beginningless and endless. It is controlled by ignorance only. My ignorance is causing me to only see this one thing called as world, called as samsara. And that samsara that I am seeing has no independent existence. It cannot sustain itself by itself. Yet I have become attached to it. Yet I think it to be real. And if I think it to be real, then I am in ignorance. And this ignorance is nanto na chadi, na antaha na cha adihi. There is no ending, antaha, there is no beginning. And how is it strengthened? Suvirudha moolam. Because those deep roots that are there that we just saw, called vasanas and karmas, very strong. So Bhagwan says, chitwa, they must, that tree must be cut down. Don't you think it is real, but so long as you hold on to the reality of that tree, then the actual reality, that substratum that is actually enabling the tree to be known, will never be known to you. Therefore, my Arjuna, you have to cut down this unreal, borrowed, temporary, ephemeral thing called as samsara. That tree of samsara must be cut. The identification that I have now, let us be very clear. That identification is not with some outside world. That is there also. The objects of this world, my friends, my family, my possessions, my name and my fame and whatever it might be, that is there also. The identification is here with me. This body alone is my world. This body alone is my sense of self. Nothing else. Everything else is valued only in its relation to me. So long as it brings value to me, that thing has value. I have love for that thing. When it is no longer giving value to me, when it is no longer contributing to my happiness, my joy, then that thing loses all value to me. Isn't it so? We celebrate our children's birthday. We don't care for the 3 houses down. Birthday, no birthday, what difference does it make for us? But because that child is connected to me, that deep attachment there is in relation to whom? To me. When I grieve at the death of a person, the passing of a person, what am I grieving? I'm grieving my loss. Is it not so? Because you cannot grieve for the jiva that has moved on. That Atma is moving on to whatever is next in his prarabdha. We do not know. What is the grief? My loss. This is the human being. This is the attachment. The attachment is nothing else. If that attachment is cut, and how should it be cut? Asanga shastrena dridhena. With the sword of detachment. If the problem is attachment, then the solution has to be detachment. And detachment does not mean that one has to become, cynical of this world. Detachment does not mean that we have to now, dislike everything. That is not detachment. That is the opposite. Detachment simply means I understand that everything in this world, including my body and everything else, is impermanent. This body has a set number of years. There is an expiration date. When it will come, even I don't know. Now, if I have such knowledge, doesn't then that mean every morning that I wake up with renewed vigor for life? I live a life with such vigor, such enthusiasm, and such goodness that life is a good life. That moment has been spent properly. And when I go to sleep at night, I do so knowing, resting comfortably and peacefully. I did my best today. And so if that night does not pass me, I am okay. And I wake up again in the next morning, grateful for another opportunity to live. Detachment actually makes life richer. Because why? Now I am not hooked to if something is there or if it is not there. That thing is a cause of great sorrow for us. When I get it, I'm happy. And when it's lost, I am so depressed and fallen, miserable. This is attachment. Children grow up and they move out of the homes and they move somewhere else. They move across the country, or sometimes they move across the world. And they leave their parents there. And the parents sits there in that house that was once filled with laughing, crying, screaming, shouting children. Now, silence. So what do? They say, okay, I will move where my child is. Then they move there. Then what happens? The child is like, I left you there. Now you have come here. The child also has no time. They have their work to do, their responsibilities to do. There is no time. Now what? Now this parent, what is there for them? Such strong attachment made them follow the child, come after the child, begging the child for attention. Now they're there alone in this world. What to do? This is why loneliness is such a big problem among so many people. Because why? Attachment. But the minute I detach and I find comfort and fullness in myself, then I don't have a problem. I can love freely. Because why? Now there is no clinging. There is no desperation, no hankering for anyone to give me love in return, because I also love myself fully. This is detachment. This asangaha is actually freedom. It is freedom from all of the things that are binding me in this world. And when I am freed from it, I am also freed to love fully without that hankering desperation for it, because I don't have a need for it. I don't have any vacancy here. There's no void here to be filled. I am already full and complete. Chitva asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Cut it down, he says. This is a very clear instruction Bhagavan is given. All of that we saw, branches and trees, branches and leaves and roots and shoots and whatever it is, all of it, he says, it is not real. It is borrowed existence. It is a false reality. It is an illusion. One has to cut it down. And then instead what? Tataha padam tat parimargitavyam. Then what? You go after that which is real. That padam, that Brahman, which is that highest state, ought to be sought. Gitavyam, you ought to do this. This is the verb. Parimargitavyam, one ought to take to this path. Meaning what? You have a choice. Bhagavan says again and again, you have a choice. Arjuna, all of us, we have a choice. You can take to the path or you cannot take to the path. This is up to you. But if you take to the path, this is the result. Tataha param tat parimargitavyam. And then what? Yasmin gata nanivartanti, he says. When you get, having gone to that state, having attained that state, which is what? Mukti. Then what? There is no return. Why do you want to come back in this world? What is there so great in this world? Yes, there is beauty. There is beauty in the flowers, in the super bloom across California because of the rains. There is beauty. But how many times can you see the same thing again? How many times can you see the Eiffel Tower? Once, twice, by the third time, what are you watching? Steel? Steel and rebar? What is the point? Yes, the flowers are beautiful. They will always be beautiful. But that is what you, on that basis alone, you keep coming back, because together with that, we will see there is more to come. But having gone to that state, there is nanivartanti, there is nothing to return to. You have attained that fullness. Tameva cha adyam purusham, adi purusha prapadye. Take refuge. You attain that adi purusha, that very source of all things. That is the goal. That is the ultimate phalam, knowing of the self. So, again, let us review very quickly these few verses. Adhyaropa, or superimposition. Bhagwan Shri Krishna is superimposing upon Brahman this samsara. Why? Because samsara is our experience, our known experience. And therefore, in order to help us as students, we are the students, not Arjuna, you and I. Arjuna is the medium for us. Bhagwan could have used any example. The tree he did not have to use. It's already there in the Kathopanishad. He could have just said, if you want to see other examples, go to Katha. You'll see it there. Any other example could have been used. He chooses one which can transcend time. Across so many eras and generations of time, this example remains the same for all and applicable to all. So Arjuna alone is not the student. We are all the students. And this samsara is my known experience. Even in the study, my language has to shift. I have to use very direct personal pronouns. Me, I. This is my experience. This samsara is my experience. The world that is constantly changing. Things are constantly coming and going. Agata. Agama payinaha. Coming and going. This is the nature of the world. I do not know when it began. Even science, modern science cannot even tell really. The best summation is several billions of years. Stars exploded. And somehow in that explosion of stars, the right exact gases and chemicals that were needed to create, imagine that, a world that is tailor-made to sustain our life today. The exact gases, chemicals, everything had to have been there in those stars at that time of that in order for all of this, through billions of years of change and evolution. 2 ice ages, dinosaurs, how many prehistoric types of beings, so many different eras. And now tailor-made for us. We could not have existed and survived. This world, we have barely skimmed the surface of our knowledge of this world, this physical world. Can we hope to understand that Brahman, to know that Brahman? So this world that we are living in, that we ourselves are trying to understand, it is really beyond our grasp. But what we do know, what I do know of it, what I have experienced of it, is a constant change that is taking place. Things come, things go. Things come, things go. I also have come sometime. I also will go sometime. This is what is known to me. Now, he says, all of that I know, is that what you want? Is that what you are holding on to? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Or do you want, instead of the constant change and fluctuation, do you want something that is stable, steady, unchanging, unmoving, that which is complete and full? If that is what you want, then you have to release your identification from the ephemeral, from that which is superimposed, and instead know yourself to be that which is the actual source of all things. You are not the pot, you are the clay. Then that has to happen through the sort of detachment, asangam, non-attachment, not a physical renunciation, not a suppression, not indifference, but the sort of detachment that comes only through clear, right knowledge and through what is called as vivekaha. So the sadhanas are being given in the next few verses, 5 and 6. So let us see verses 5 and 6. निर्मानमोहाजित संगदोषाः अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसंज्ञैः गच्छन्त्यमूढा परमव्ययं तत्. Actually, let's see 5 alone for now. Tat avyayam padam gachanti. Then one wants to attain that supreme imperishable state. To go to that supreme imperishable state, who goes there? Amudhaha, the wise one. Amudhaha meaning not mudha. In other words, wise ones. Those with the right knowledge. And it's not just mere acquisition of knowledge. This is not merely, oh, I have studied Gita and I have studied Brahma Sutras and I have studied this thing and that thing. This is not that at all. Actually, the jnani is the one from Tattva Bodha itself. Mukti has come. That is true knowledge. That is true wisdom. Otherwise, we are studying, but at some point, that knowledge I have to start living. This is a direct experiential thing. This is not something that is just mere words. Memorizing and all that is perfectly fine, but I have to live it. This is how knowledge becomes wisdom. How nirmana and nirmoha. Get rid of pride. Get rid of pride. That is why seva is so important. I'll tell you, in Trinidad, in the ashram there, Swamiji was always very great at giving seva. We all did seva all the time. It doesn't matter who you are, whatever, even up to Swamiji. And I will give you a very real example. One day, this was during the course, and our rooms, the girls, where our building was it was at the back of the ashram. And some of you have been to Trinidad ashram, so you are familiar with the layout of the ashram there. It hasn't changed, just new buildings have come up if you've not been in a long time. But the girls' building, where the Brahmacharinis and the Vedanta course stayed, was at the back of the ashram. And Swamiji's kutir is at the very front. As you enter into the ashram, Swamiji's kutir is there, Radha Krishna Mandir is there, Vidya Mandir is there. Then walk down a little bit. So our rooms, and so we had a window that faced got a nice panoramic view of the ashram. So one morning I was there, and I always kept my windows. I like sun and fresh air and sunlight, natural light. So my windows were always open, and early morning is very nice, very quiet, I saw this orange figure. There's only one person walking down. Swamiji, Swami Prakashanandaji. He was walking down. Swamiji must have been going to do something. Who knows? He does any number of things, actually. At that time, our Chinmaya Vidyalaya was housed in our ashram. Now, of course, they have their own campus just next door. But at that time, the school was housed there. And this was a Saturday, Sunday morning. So, they're children from the little kids in kindergarten all the way up to high schoolers. So naturally, there was some trash and all of that. As Swamiji was walking, he picked up, I saw him bend down, and then he walked over and threw something away. As he continued walking, he picked up one or two other things, threw away. Then he went back, I assume, to the kutter, came back with a garbage bag and started to pick up trash. Now, don't ask if I went and joined him or not. If you know Swamiji, you know when he's doing work, you just leave him alone. Let him do what he's doing. Don't go and harass him. Don't bother him. And this morning also, But it was something that was very striking to me, and it stayed with me from then till now. And if you ask Swamiji, he won't even remember it. That won't even be a memory in his mind. But it was a very poignant lesson in humility. Nobody was there to see. He didn't know that I saw. There was no crowd to observe, no nothing. Just a simple act of, there is a mess here. I'm seeing it. I'll pick it up and I'll throw it away. This is called as nirmana. Simple humility in life. No pride. Oh, I am the Swami here. I am a sannyasi, I am jnani, vidwan. So let me call somebody to pick it up. No. Saw it, picked it up, done. That's it. They moved on also. And didn't tell any, it's not like after he went and tell and made a big, nothing like that. This is called as nirmana. Together with mana, there is something called as moha. The two feed into each other. Moha is delusion. Delusion feeds my mana. Mana, this pride. And then pride further reinforces my delusion. I think I am some big something. I have this name, I have this position, I have this, this is my mother, this is my father, and that is delusion. So what? At the end of the day, we are all ending up in the same place. We all came from the same place also. So what? That delusion and that mana and moha, they feed each other. So as long as one, that's why it's clubbed here. They're mana moha. So because so long as one is there, the other will be fed and keep coming back. You have to eliminate both. Whether you start with pride or start with the moha, either one, it doesn't matter. But both must go. Nir. Be without it. Then the next sadhana, jitta sanga doshaha. See the defect in this world. See the defect of attachment. We just saw. When I am attached, what happens? What does attachment do for me? Nothing good. It may seem in the moment, oh, this is my child. This is my friend. It may seem in the moment as though, what is wrong with it? But you keep holding on to it and you quickly realize that is not going to give anything good. So jitta, conquer it. See, he doesn't say nir. He says jitta, conquer that detachment, that attachment to things in this world, and be detached from it. Then he says adhyatma nityaha. Start gaining knowledge. One has to gain that adhyatma jnanam. Adhyatma jnanam, atma jnanam, brahma jnanam. These are all interchangeable terms, synonyms, all meaning the same, knowledge of the self. One has to be firmly fixed in that knowledge of the self. I might not yet be realized, but I know I am that Brahman. Without a doubt, I know. Now I just have to get there. That's all. That's all that has to happen. But I know, no doubts. Be fixed there. Vinivritta kamaha. And get rid of all kamas. Why is kama there? Kama is there because of ajnanam. Because of ignorance, karma is there. I think I am this individual, I am limited, I am incomplete. Therefore, because I feel this way, I believe this, then I keep looking for things to make me feel complete, make me feel good, make me feel happy, because I'm always dukhi, 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 dukhi. I don't know that I am Anandam, Anantam Anandam. Instead, I identify with this body, I identify with this body, mind, intellect consortium, which is limited by its very nature, and therefore I feel myself to be as a limited being experiencing happiness and sorrow, sukha dukham. I am experiencing that. So one has to really eliminate karma. Karma is a big problem. How do you eliminate karma? When you eliminate the desire for the lesser for a desire for a higher. In this case, the highest is mumukshu tvam. So for those of us who have studied various prakarana granthas, this thing called as sadhana chatushtayam, we should see it here. And this is actually, these are the sadhanas. And mumukshutvam is still a desire, but it is a desire for the highest thing. It is the sort of desire that once fulfilled, there is no more desire left to be had. Then he says, Sukha dukkha sangyehi dvandvehi vimuktaha. Be freed from this duality of sukham and dukham. Shri Krishna, throughout this Gita, uses a word very often. This word is called as samatvam. Samatvam, balance. Sukha dukkhe krit, sukha dukkam krit, what is it? Sukha labha labha jaya.
Samai krutva labha labha jaya jaya.
Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labha jaya jaya. Thank you very much, Sudhaji. In happiness, in sorrow, in gain and loss, in victory and defeat, be balanced. Either, you have two options here. See, we always have options. Either be balanced, be neutral in both. I win, great. I lose, great. Fine. I'm not affected either way. Or I win, yay, celebrate. I lose, yay, celebrate in the same way. That is the choice. You pick. Which one do you want? You do. Fine. Either way, you have to, we cannot allow ourselves to be carried away by either. See, when we talk about the different worlds, and this is the unique thing about this Bhuluka. Swarga, Bhu, and Narak. Swarga is for when the jiva has a lot of punya, excess punya, they attain some body, some life, some state in Swarga. They attain a body in Swarga. In Swarga, it is all about enjoyment. That is it. Enjoy. Because you have a lot of punya. You have to get rid of it. Bring some balance. And if you have a lot of pap, then they go to some narak, where there is only suffering. But it is here in this bhulok that we have the opportunity, because why? There is a relative balance of punya pap. The opportunity is I can continue doing karmas to bind me, or I can strive for mukti. But neither one of those things are possible in Swarga or Narak. If you are being dipped into burning hot, boiling oil 24/7, how can you think about mukti? You cannot. You also don't have any opportunity to do new actions, to generate new karma bandha. So you're just exhausting. That's one thing. In Swarga, if all you're doing is enjoying, who thinks about mukti and Bhagwan when they're enjoying? Nobody. Not a person. That's why Kunti Devi had to pray for sorrow. At least then, oh God, please save me. Nobody thinks at that time. And that too, when it's only enjoyment, there is no time to think about mukti. And that too, there is no opportunity to create new, because you are just experiencing the results of your karma phala. Hence, this birth, this life, this opportunity is a very rare thing. This is why from Ramcharitmanas to Vivekachudamani to the Upanishads, it keeps extolling the great fortune and opportunity that we have in this human birth, because it is not guaranteed. Not at all. We must eliminate this phrase, in my next life, in my next birth, in my next lifetime, because we are thinking about next human birth. That we should eliminate, because we have no guarantee of it. All I have is here and now to utilize, make the most of it. Sukha dukkha sanyaihi dvandvaihi vimuktaha. That's why let that duality understand, this is the nature of the world. Do not get caught in it. Don't get caught in it. Then one becomes amudhaha. Tat avyayam padam gacchanti. Such beings who are freed from all of these things, who have done the sadhana, and through those sadhanas have purified themselves, made themselves very disciplined, focused, chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata, have gained the knowledge, have did the mananam, shravanam, mananam, in the nididhyasanam also. They are the ones who are fit for mukti. All of the obstacles for knowledge must be removed so that the knowledge itself can shine clearly. And this is why in the 6th verse, Bhagavan says, Na tad bhasayate suryaha, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. That self which shines on its own. There is nothing else supporting it. There is no light behind it. There is no battery powering it. It is self-luminous. That Chit Swarupam. The sun shines because of that light, because of that Brahman. That same sun that illumines even the moon. It shines because of that Brahman. Yad gatva, having attained that, nanivartanti. There is no return. You will not want to return. Who wants to go back to childhood and experience colic and have to again, lose teeth, go back, gain more teeth, go through all of the growing pains of childhood and adolescence. Then when finally in your youth, you think you have, youth and a nice, healthy body, then what? Then you have to go to school. Then you have to go to college. Then you have to work. Then you have to take care of your family. Then finally, when all of that is done, what is left? Sitting also becomes a problem. When you sit, it sounds like firecrackers going off. Crack, 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 crack. Knees, everything. Isn't it so? Health, vitality, youth, when we have it, we have to use it up doing all of these mandatory things of this world. And when the time is there, resources also might be there, then the body may not cooperate. The mind also, elasticity of the mind may not be there. Ability to study, concentration, all of that is gone. Because they are all habits that we have to form in our youth. And if the habit is not started there, you think in 60, 70 years old, if you have not spent your time in this path, then it will come. It will not come. Very rare it may come. But for most of us, we are the rule, not the exception. So that, who wants to come back to that? Nanivartante, he says. There is no need. Don't bother. Gain that state which guarantees freedom, fullness, completion. There is nothing else that you need thereafter. If you have already eaten lunch, are you going to eat lunch again in the next 5 minutes? No. When the stomach is full, it's full. What more is there for food thereafter? None. No need. That mama paramam dhama. Bhagavan says, that is me. That is my abode. In other words, that is me. You are coming to me, he says. Nowhere else. Don't be afraid. This is not some unknown, the unknown darkness of space. You are coming to me. To Arjuna, this Arjuna who has seen this Krishna his entire life, known him his entire life. Hey Sakha, he called. My friend. Hey Yadava, he called. Bhagavan says, that same Sakha, you are coming to me only. Don't be afraid. And if you are coming to me, why do you want anything? Why do you want my army, Arjuna? Do you want me? Do you want the samsara? Or do you want the source, Brahman, of all things? This is the choice. And that consciousness of the self, that Brahman is self-shining, self-revealing. That na tad bhasayate suryaha, na shashankaha, na pavakaha. Not the sun, not the moon, nothing shines upon it. It shines, and in its brilliance, all things are illumined. And that mama paramam dhama. That is my very own state, my very own self. Then he goes on to tell a very important thing. This jiva, who is this jiva? He says in the 7th verse. Mame vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Brahman is partless. But Bhagavan is saying here, Mama eva amshaha. You are a part of me. Mama amshaha. You are a part of me. This part is not saying, like puzzle pieces, each piece is separate and then you have to put it together, then you see the whole picture. Not like that. This part meaning, you are me and I am you. You are just experiencing differentiation. You are experiencing separation, but that is just an experience. That is just an appearance. It is not real. The jiva who is, experiencing all of this is only experiencing it because I'm only experiencing it because Bhagwan is that consciousness that is shining upon me and allowing me to have this experience. But all of it is borrowed. It is because of Brahman. Whatever it is that I am experiencing, whether it is separation, independence, whether I feel that I am Brahman, until that point of actually clear, direct aparokshanubhuti, direct awareness of self, all of it is still only possible because of that Brahman. In the language of Vedanta, this is called as an upadhi. An upadhi is a conditioning or limiting adjunct. I have identified as this upadhi, called as body, mind, intellect. That is all that I have identified with. But the more and more I begin to inquire into body, into mind, into intellect, I come to realize, it is not independent. Something is sustaining it. That something sustaining me is sustaining all things. I just cannot see it because I'm seeing separation, distinction, division. I'm experiencing variety. What a beautiful variety it is, but variety nonetheless. If I can see beyond the external, beyond the superficial presentation, then I can understand all things are actually one and the same. This analysis can work from many levels. Let us see one in whatever time we have. all things, whether animate or inanimate, are a modification of the 5 basic elements. Isn't it so? All things. This me, this human being, and I am, I am the top of the food chain. I have no known predators. I am so great with this mind, blah, blah, blah. And a simple inanimate rock, we are made from the same 5 elements. Is it not a fact? It is. The plants that I am eating that is sustaining me, now I am eating it. But one day soon, this body returns to the earth, then it begins to eat me. Is it not so? It is. Whether cremation, burial, whatever. That is the nature of this world. This world is just recycling. This world has all of the elements, all of the gases, all of the water, all of everything already here. Nothing new is added and nothing is taken away. It is just continuously recycling it. Isn't it so? Therefore, when I come to understand that the same elements here, it's all 5 elements in this body, 5 elements in that body, 5 elements in this thing, 5 elements in that thing, then where is their difference? Where is their separation? I am only experiencing separation because of some simple, this object is this big, taking up this much space. But really, that is such a temporary thing. Very temporary thing. It is all an appearance. It is not real. So that self, this individual, as well as everything else that is appearing as real in this world, we are all the same, made from the same. Expressing the expression may be different. This much is true. Consciousness is reflecting upon my antakarana and allowing me to express in this way. The expressions may be varied, but the base ingredients, the base source of all things is one and the same. And then in the next 2 verses, 8 and 9, Bhagwan talks about this samsara, transmigration, birth and death, the cycle of samsara that we are experiencing, and this cosmic process. Let us see number 8. Mame pamshu jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shashtani indriyani prakritistani karshati shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati shvaraha grihitvaitani sayyati vayurgandhani vashayat shrutrang chakshusparshanang cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate shariram yad avapnoti yatcha api utkramati ishvaraha grihitva etani samsayati vayuhu gandhani vayuhu gandhan iva ashayat. Sometimes breaking of these sandhis can be a little bit confusing. So just as vayuhu, the air, is taking scent, fragrances from one place to the next, in the very same way, this jiva, the actual amsha of consciousness that I am identifying with, is moving from body to body. We saw, in a previous chapter, Bhagwan talks about how we are just dropping body from old body to new bodies, like clothing, like how we leave old dirty clothing and we put on clean clothing. In the very same way, the jiva is moving from body to body. It takes with it its mind and senses. But the body, the shariram, is disposed. And once it's gone, it's gone. There is no coming back to it. There's an old body, drop it, let it go. Because eventually the jiva has to drop it and let it go. And then that jiva, that one which is identifying as an individual, as it is transporting from body to body. And in each body, what happens? It becomes attached and to this world by it gets a taste for the world. How Shrutram, Chakshu, Sparshanam, Rasanam, Granam. All of our sense organs, which are designed to go outward. This eye cannot see inside the head. All of our sense organs, we don't smell ourselves. It's a big problem. Other people smell us. We don't smell ourselves. Our sense organs are designed to go outward. That is the nature of it. They are designed to pick up the sense objects of this world. The sense objects were designed to capture the sense organs. And they do their job very well. The sense organs get trapped. And then what happens? I like this body. Number one, that is the first attachment. That's why he says the jiva is moving from body to body, discarding one body, picking up new ones. And then what happens? We get attached to the body only. We start feeling like this body is so great, this body is so wonderful. The sense organs are fun, and then the sense organs start picking up tastes and scents and nice things, nice things that we see, hearing nice music, and it brings enjoyment to me, and I like it. I am happy with it. And we are very good. We have learned, we have bargained ourselves into accepting this mediocrity called a samsara and sacrifice that Brahman, which is full and complete. We have done that. Who has done it? I have done it to myself only, actually. I have nobody else to blame but myself. Because why? We get trapped. We get trapped by the sense objects of this world. The eye enjoys seeing bright colors, nice things, beautiful saris, Kanchipuram silks. The nose likes nice scents, rose-scented, sandalwood. I'm using references suitable for Indians because this is the audience. The airs likes nice music. If you're from North Hindustani, if you're from South Carnatic, yeah. The skin likes to touch nice things. I don't want to touch a frog. It's so slimy and no. Give me that Kanchipuram silk. I like that. That's nice. And the tongue, that tongue, powerful instrument it is. It loves taste. Why? This food is so bland and tasteless. Why? Because it doesn't have jeera, it doesn't have chili powder, it doesn't have mustard seeds, it doesn't have methi, it doesn't have... The tongue gets hooked on taste, and then that becomes all that it wants. I can't eat anything else after. Boiled vegetables? When some people visit, what is this? How can you eat this? You have no taste. You need food with taste. Isn't it so? and we get hooked. And when we get hooked, what happens? Keep coming back for more. What more we'll see, you will see tomorrow with Swamiji. So these 9 verses, these first 9 verses that we are seeing of this 15th chapter, Bhagwan is using as an opportunity for us to understand really what is the nature of this world that I have become so attached to. The world is not attached to us. Please understand this. The world is not attached to us. Not even Einsteins have come. One Einstein has come and gone. One Gandhi has come and gone. One MLK has come and gone. One, all come and gone. Did the world bring them? No. The world is not attached to us. The world is not dependent upon us. The world does not need us. We think we are so important. The best thing that human beings have built in this world, if we just leave it for a little while, nature starts to reclaim it. Is it not so? The world doesn't need us. We have become dependent upon it. We have become enslaved to it. Bhagwan says, see that. Understand the defect there. Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. All of this is really just giving us dukkham only. That is all. Whatever sense of sukham we are experiencing, is it worth it? Is piecemeal sukham here and here, wherever we can find it, is it worth all the other dukkham that is coming in between? If you think it is worth it, then fine, no problem, stay. But if you see that it is not, and he says, asanga shastrena vridhena chitva, you have to cut it down. The sadhanas of nirmana moha, jitasanga dosha, these sadhanas must be practiced, must be developed in myself. Another way of phrasing these sadhanas is viveka, vairagya, shamadi, shatka, sampattihi, mumukshutvam. Bhagwan is simply using, what did we say? He's just giving a different vocabulary to express the same point. That is all. So don't get confused with the words, but the meaning should be clear. Now, where did we start? Bhagwan starts with the simple methodology called as superimposition and negation. Adhyaropa, apavada. Adhyaropa is an actual intentional superimposition. We are superimposing upon that Brahman this experience of samsara. Why? Because this is my starting point. This is where what I know. So you know this? Good. Just know that this started there in Brahman. That's all. As you understand that, then he says, but actually all of these things that you are experiencing, called as samsara, called as world, it's not real. When you start taking all of that away, what you are left with is the reality. That negation of the unreal and the affirmation of what is real. It's called as apavada. So this is that methodology. Now, whether or not you know the methodology that is fine, but the concept should be clear, right? Then we saw how Shankaracharya, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, then goes on to talk about those sadhanas that are required. After he says negate, then these are the sadhanas that you need to do. You need to engage yourselves in this nirmana moha, jitasanga doshaha, etc. The sadhanas are given. Through those sadhanas, one comes to understand the nature of the reality, which is that ever shining, ever luminous self. Thereafter, know that you are my amsha. You are really a part of this Brahman, not a separate, indistinguishable part. Though this is how you identify here and now, ultimately, you are a part of me as me. I am you, you are me. Bhagwan is saying. There is no real separation there. And then he says, what you are experiencing with regards to this body, it is a cycle of birth and death, etc. This thing it is all just due to my own attachment, to my own ignorance. And this jiva, associated with all of the senses and the mind, etc., experiencing all of these objects, instead becomes attracted to the objects and lose sight of the actual substratum. So what is bondage? What is the nature of this world, the samsara? What is the means to detach from that detachment that is born out of clear, right knowledge of discrimination? What is the nature of that self? And this jiva, which is experiencing bondage, is really none other than that Brahman. Right. So we'll end today. I saw a hand was up. Don't worry, you'll have an opportunity. If you have a question, we'll get to it. I just wanted to conclude these verses. Right. So if there are any questions, now is an opportunity to ask or doubts. I hope I have not bored you into some state of temporary unconscious state. Somebody got samadhi tonight.
So, namaste, Sandhya ji.
Hari Om, namaste.
Namaste. This is Krishna. So, it's a beautiful, I really needed it today, what you disclosed. And one of the things, you're talking about in Trinidad and Tobago, the Swami was doing by himself everything. And obviously, everybody noticed that, and it stuck with you. And then automatically you started doing probably later on. So right now you saw my children who are 7 years old, right? So 6.5 years old. So I would, when they make a mess,
Yeah.
and if I start cleaning up and their mother start cleaning up, will at this age, should we tell them to do the things, or they will learn when we do, or when we do without even asking them, we clean their stuff too. So that is a dilemma, because they're at an age where they might expect, if we start doing things for them, they might expect that, oh, they're going to do anyway. We don't have to do, we'll create mess.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Excellent. And you are right. You answered at the end of it. If you just do it all of the time, then what will they learn? Oh, my parents will do it. So you do have to tell. I mean, my experience at Swamiji was happy. That was already as an adult, but as a child growing up, unless a child, see, biologically also, right? The child's development it's still developing intellectually, mentally, psychologically, all of that, emotionally. That child is still developing. And for the most part of childhood, there's a selfishness there in that child, mostly because they cannot do things on their own. They're heavily reliant on the parents to take care of them. And because of that, there is no independence there. Even teenagers or, preteens, that scary age from 13 to 16 or so, they also cannot really take care of themselves. So it is a combination of both, I think, really and truly. More than just, there's both role modeling the right behavior, but at the same time, instruction and guidance should be there, no? Otherwise, most times if somebody else is doing, we just assume, even as adults, oh, this one is doing, and so we don't think, let me go help. We just rely on that person to do. So I would say, now keeping in mind you're asking a brahmachari, I don't have children, but I am somebody's child.
Yeah.
But I can say I believe, I think, and I think also some of our the more senior parents might be able to share in that. Both demonstrating the behavior, but at the same time giving that instruction, that guidance that they should also do. And maybe sometimes you give incentives, by doing this, you may get some reward. Shouldn't be something like you buy them a Tesla, when they're 16. It's unrealistic. Something small and manageable, but enough to give a little encouragement. It would be nice if we all lived in a world where people did things because they saw the need for it. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Even we as adults need encouragement to do things sometimes, Sometimes it's prasad. Is it okay?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. That's a dilemma a lot of times I have because, obviously I can't expect them to once because I keep doing a lot of those things too. So the thing is, I can't expect them at that age where not in a harsh way, but I'm kind of they actually are changing my thought process from last one year, how to interact with them because rather than me saying something, I'm kind of listening to them, and then I'm kind of involving them like a partner also. But that has its advantages and disadvantages again there.
Mm. The
Sandhya
parent,
ji, sorry.
sorry, yeah.
Sandhya ji, I'm Vandana here. My internet is bad, so I've kept my video off. But my question, I just first of all, such a wonderful lecture. It was just, you had my rapt attention. My question to you is, you spoke about detachment and how it is almost something that needs to be severed. When you have built a lifetime of being attached to your child, also because biologically you have to do it, it's your child, the attachment is necessary in a way to be functioning as a mother. So how
Mm.
then do you suddenly detached, or is it a process, or you always start off detached? I'm very curious about what you think about it.
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, some people are born in this world and, because of their samskaras, they've come already with a certain level of vairagya there because knowledge is already there to an extent. So let me give you an example. It's not a parent-child example, it's the opposite, child-parent. Adi Shankaracharya ji, who is our greatest teacher of Advaita Vedanta, the one who really took this Advaita philosophy and expanded and made it available to us, right? His mother was there. Shankara's life story, I won't go into the details of that. It's easy enough to find. But his mother was alive. By that time, Shankaracharya ji was, teaching, writing commentaries, writing all of texts, Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, etc. And so he had gotten his mother's permission to take sannyas. When his mother died, he came there and he himself did the shrad, did this antyeshti samskaras for the mother. Never mind what other people were saying. They belong to this Nambudri Brahmana caste in Kerala. But never mind what they were saying. Shankaracharya ji himself did that shrad for his mother. Now, this is the person who is really the greatest acharya, the greatest teacher of Advaita. And here he is showing that you still have duties and responsibilities in this world. And so long as that is there, you must fulfill it. But fulfilling a duty, fulfilling a responsibility, showing love, showing affection, showing compassion, showing grace, those are things that actually become better, more refined and freer, both for yourself and the other person, when there is this awareness that, all of this is temporary. Now, how can a parent apply this? Because that is child to parent. How can the parent apply? Simple. Start with first. Bhagwan has given me this opportunity to raise these jivas up. These beings, they are actually Bhagwan's children. Just as I am his child, they also are his children. And Bhagwan has given me the opportunity. Bhagwan Shiva, Bhagwan Krishna, Devi, whoever is your form of the Lord that you pray to, Bhagwan Bhagavati has given the opportunity. Now, what do I do with it? Do I flounder it by all unnecessary things, or do I rise up to that occasion and raise this child to be a bearer and a true, proud Sanatani? Let them fly that flag of Dharma by giving them the best possible foundation I can give. In this way, when I see in this way my responsibility as a parent as really serving Bhagwan, then not only can I do that work, fulfill that duty in the best possible way, but I can do so without any clinging attachment to it. But I can do so knowing that I am actually doing Bhagwan's work. I am serving Bhagwan in this way by ensuring these children, giving them the best opportunity, not just by their education, that much is there, not just by wealth, but by giving them a strong spiritual foundation. That thing doesn't go. Even if a teenager says, I don't believe in God, I don't like this, doesn't matter. They will come back. This is guaranteed. So attachment is really, when we talk about attachment here, what we are not saying not love. It's not saying don't love, don't care for, don't take care, don't fulfill your responsibility. That is not. Attachment is actually the thing that is preventing us from fully fulfilling our responsibility. Detachment means recognizing the child actually does not belong to you. The child does not belong to any parent. By law, maybe, but in reality, the child does not belong to anyone. The child belongs to Bhagwan and Bhagwan only, because he's Ishvara Amsha. He's not Vandana Amsha or Niru Amsha, Sudha Amsha. He is Ishvara Amsha. He's the Amsha of Bhagwan, just as you are as well. With this understanding, I can approach my role and my duty as a parent fully and freely. Then I am not bound by, these other selfish motivations. This is why sometimes some parents have great difficulty in disciplining children. Why? Because the minute they see those big fat crocodile tears come, oh my gosh, they start to feel sorry for that child. And by sparing the discipline, what results in the end? Spoiled children. That's why this country has a big crime problem. Not this country, only all countries actually. So the attachment is really thinking that this is mine. This is not yours. Bhagwan's. And I have the duty to really take care of this child, to really show the Lord that I am fit to be a parent, to raise a child with the right values, the right foundation, that they can be a great flag bearer for Dharma in society. Yes? Is that okay?
Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you.
It's not my wisdom. So in these final moments, let us just take a moment to express our profound gratitude to Bhagavan and to Gurudev for giving us this opportunity for satsang. It is for ourselves only and our own spiritual upliftment that this mission is here for all of us. Om Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.